All right, welcome everyone to another West Coast pop tier list. Today we are going to do factions. We have them all there on the bottom. I know you're going to say we left some out, so please let us know in the comments which ones we left out. I'll give a special shout out right now to Dark Order in AEW and Contra in MLW, two factions that are very well established already. But we have with us today on camera, we got Noc. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. A lot of good factions on here. A lot of factions I will bash. I just want to say for people commenting, yeah, let us know if there's anyone we missed and where you'd put them. You know, this is all opinion based.
Yep. And Eric, great balls of fire. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Unfortunately, you guys won't get to see me today, but you get to enjoy the brilliance that is Vince McMahon and his best pay-per-view ever.
All right, let's kick it off right now with one of the all-time classics, the Four Horsemen. Originally had Ric Flair, Arn, and Ole Anderson, and Tully Blanchard. Where do you guys put the Four Horsemen?
I think it'd be blasphemous if you put him anywhere but S class. Everyone's been trying to copy him since the original Four Horsemen. Not any of the. That's what I'm going with. S class.
Agreed. Yeah.
Agree as well. Just like a lot of these factions, they get watered down and mixed up with other people just to put them over and give them some shine. All right. Now, can you tell us a little bit about Aces and Eights from TNA?
Aces and Eights. What a group, man. You got Bully Ray as the leader who turned on his tag team partner, went heel, beat up Jeff Hardy, screwed over Hulk Hogan, won the world title. But then his tag team partner joined him in the group. Devon got a singles run. You had Eric Bischoff's son. You had Wes Briscoe. I believe this is where Doc Gallows was born. You got the real Doc Gallows that you see in the Bullet Club. And you guys remember Mike Knox?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what his name was in TNA, but he was in the group too. It was a formidable group. They took over for a while. They ran through TNA. I think even Mr. Anderson joined.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. So they had a solid run, but they didn't win any other titles besides Bully Ray winning the world title and Devon winning the Legends, TV, Global, Television. That belt had a whole bunch of names, but yeah. I'd put them. They had a nice run, but I'd say card filler. Or no, I'll put them in B team. I'll put a little respect in them. I'll put them in B team for now.
Okay, Eric, are you familiar with this TNA faction?
I don't remember how or why TNA ended up on my TV when I was watching it, but I saw them when they were trying to get AJ to join, but I didn't follow them. So I will trust Noc wherever he wants to put them. Will get my vote.
I
B
agree.
team for now, but I might drop them.
Okay. Let's talk about the beautiful people here. Very much so imitated in wrestling. Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, Madison Rain. Personally, I think I'll put them in A class. Noc, what about you?
I'm gonna go A as well. So there was an issue with the beautiful people. So Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, original group. They were running through TNA. They were the divas, even though they can really wrestle. And they were just such a good addition to the group. They brought Madison Rain in later, and she was great. But Angelina Love, when she won the title and they really got hot, she had visa issues, so she had to leave the company. So they kind of lost some steam there. So Madison Rain took over as Velvet Sky. They brought in Lacey Von Erich, who's back on the scene now. She's killing it. She was very young when she was in the group, so she wasn't really the best in ring. She had a nice little claw she does the finisher. But now she's back, I heard, on the indies, and she's doing her thing. So, but the beautiful people, they're A class. All three of the leaders, Velvet Sky, Angela Love, and Madison Rain, become multiple-time world champions. So you got to put in an A. And they won the tag team belts.
Eric, anything PG you can say about the beautiful people?
Let the pigeons loose.
Just that Michelle McCool and Layla must have perfected that gimmick. Hit me up in the comments. I dare you.
Whoa, buddy.
Hit me up in the comments.
First, they stole everything from us. Michelle was cool, stole the gimmick. She stole AJ's finisher. We're not going to talk about this nonsense.
Once again, I'll agree with Noc wherever he wants to put them.
Okay. I used to love this entrance when they came out. I thought it was really cool lighting and everything like that. The Brood, Gangrel, Edge, and Christian, the Vampire Extraordinaires. What do you guys think about the Brood?
I don't know if I'm going to get some heat for this, but they might be a card filler for me, man. I'll be honest. It's a good start for Edge and Christian, but that's
when you watched the Attitude Era, they were card filler. Yeah. Not necessarily in a bad way, but
yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing.
It gave them their start. I think card filler is a good place for them.
Yeah. All right, you guys are going to have to educate me on this. I am a hamburger eating, red-blooded American kind of guy. Tell me about the Bullet Club.
Eric, you want to take this one, man? Too sweet.
Oh man, Bullet Club's just. I'll give it to them. I did not think they were going to explode as much as they did. Starting with Prince Devitt, Carl Anderson, Tamatonga, just a bad boy foreigner faction in New Japan that somehow got better and better with each leader. How would you say it, Noc? That Prince, Finn Balor started it, AJ brought the gold, and Kenny and the Elite brought the popularity.
Yeah, I would say so. Some people credit Finn Balor for being the one who started AEW back here with the Bullet Club stuff. You know, there was some long list I think I seen on some Facebook group, but yeah, Balor started it. They were this crazy group. AJ brought, you know, all the gold. They realized their potential, and then Kenny brought it to some other heights of his popularity. He wasn't really the best leader storyline wise. You know, he had his issues with Cody, and he didn't care about the New Japan side of the group. So he really was a terrible leader. But the popularity was there, and they blew up. Sold so much merch, had great matches, all these titles.
And my number one favorite line, and I think all pro wrestling, because I wish somehow Cody would bring it back.
Oh
is
yeah,
Bullet Club is fine, just as it's falling apart.
yes, it's great. He would say that every week, and then when he finally turned, he said, "Bullet Club is fine. Bullet Club is mine," and I loved it, man. Cody was killing it. I miss heel Cody, to be honest. Yeah. How we feel to Jay White real quick before we move on? Jay White.
I don't know, because he's a great wrestler.
He is.
I don't know. I think they it's a tough act to follow Kenny. I feel bad for the dude. It's just this is the weakest era for Bullet Club. It's not entirely his fault. It's just it's coming off the strongest.
The popularity died down. It's no fault to Jay because he was a great wrestler. I didn't give him enough credit in the beginning, but his crossover appeal into the mainstream over here, it hasn't been as much as Kenny, like the guy like that, you know. But this is S for me if we didn't say it already.
So including the whole run, S class.
It still has to be. Their impact has been insane, and there's an argument to say they started AEW. They're the reason AEW exists.
You agree, Eric?
I'll keep them in S class because I don't know. Maybe it's not too like as soon as like everyone wants the Elite and the Bullet Club to get back together. They want that again, and they had such a huge impact. They're very close to dropping into A class. They need to do something, but they're still S class right now.
Yeah, and I will say they didn't have the best run in like WWE if they were just the club and whatnot. But you have this group of guys going everywhere, taking over, literally wrestling every single company. I don't think you've seen it like that.
Sure.
All right. Let's go with the Blue World Order.
Oh God.
One of many factions created to feed off of the popularity of the NWO. Blue Meanie, Big Stevie Cool, and Hollywood Nova. Steven Richards, you'll see on a few of these here today. I'll put him in D's nuts because it shouldn't have lasted more than an episode.
Yeah. They carried that on forever. I personally don't really care for this. I don't really like them at all. But they have their own little cutout, you know, cult following. I know Eric knows a lot about that, but so I can't say it was a complete fail because they had something going for that. So I think where you put them is good.
Yeah, I'll give him bonus points for getting revenge on JBL the hard way after he busted open Blue Meanie, but that's the most I know about them.
Yeah, from 96 to 98, EC Dub. Noc, what do you know about Chaos?
Chaos. The King of Strong South. This was Shinsuke Nakamura's group. I was watching some of the New Japan, like their history videos on the YouTube channel. I forget exactly how they started, but I believe that they broke off from a different group, and that's why Shinsuke started himself. But they were originally a part of another group. Right now, the leader is Okada. There's a lot of guys in there. Ospreay was in there before he turned on him. It's a good group. They're New Japan's top group. You know, if you have a guy like Okada and Shinsuke both being the leaders.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think they have to go in A for me. What would you say, Eric?
Yeah, just because of status. Like they are New Japan's like number one group. They're the top face group, and all the top guys. Like Ospreay was there for a while before he turned. It's a tough one. They're not anywhere as popular as Bullet Club, but they are probably New Japan's like favorite group. That's
at least as far as like Americanized and like the rest of the world.
Yeah.
New Japan, they're probably rock stars.
Oh yeah.
Japan.
worldwide, they're not as popular as Bullet Club.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Loki
Noc,
was in here too, actually.
I'm going to tap to you again right here quick because it's another TNA one established in 2015, Dollhouse.
Yes, the Dollhouse. Not too sure about the history again because I know you, Zach, you just told me like Awesome Kong did take over, but originally it was Taryn Terrell. You had Jade, who was known as Mia Yim. I don't know why they gave her the name Jade, but and Marty Bell. Marty Bell and Mia Yim worked so well together. They were great. Taryn Terrell was having like one of the best heel runs of her career. She won gold too. They were a formidable force. They took over. They kind of fit that mold of what the Beautiful People were doing. Not exactly how they did it, but in that same space. I think, but honestly, they weren't card fillers for sure. I'd put them in B team for now.
Okay, Eric, you familiar with them?
Oh, no idea. Come on, look at my profile picture. Do you think I watch TNA?
Oh man.
All right, let's break it down. D-Generation X started with Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and then we got Rick Rude and China added to the fray, and then it took a turn, and Triple H took over, and we got New Age Outlaws, we got X-Pac, we got it just turned into something else.
Don't forget
Eric,
about Hornswoggle.
Oh, God,
yeah. It feels like every time they tried to bring DX back, it just got worse and worse and worse, or more watered down. I guess B team, just like because of what it ended up with. I can't give it A. I want to give like the last stuff they did with Khali and Hornswoggle and Little People's Court. They kind of watered it down for me hard. And sadly, that's like the DX that I first came to. Like that's how I was introduced to them.
Oh no!
I had to go back.
Oh, no.
I had to go back and look at the '90s one. I was like, oh, this is better.
Oh.
So that must be why you're disrespecting them like that. I said they're S class. They were a movement. They were huge. I loved everything about DX. Before Bullet Club, they were my number one. I think them and some other people. Like I loved everything about DX.
All right, I'm gonna break it apart here. I'm gonna put them in A class just because the Shawn, Triple H, China stuff was so good. Yeah. Even after Shawn lost at Mania and Triple H took it over, it wasn't the same for me. Like it wasn't DX. It was what it was. It was, I don't know. It was something else. It wasn't must see TV anymore.
Yeah.
Road Dogg rapping didn't do it for me. All right, Eric, you want to talk about the Elite?
The Elite. They are the top, the pro wrestling world. Unfortunately, though, they have they split up, they spread apart. Marty's dead. Hangman's an alcoholic. It's all just gone to hell. But before all that, they were the coolest guys in pro wrestling, I think, for a while. Yeah. And they honestly could have been like the top. Cody, Kenny, the Bucks, like top 10 wrestlers. Hangman, who you knew had all the potential in the world. Marty, who was funny as shit. It was a good group of wrestlers. And Brandy, if you count Brandy.
Yeah.
They honestly, them leaving the Bullet Club is like that kind of just like tore the soul out of the Bullet Club. That was the nail in the coffin for a while.
Tough loss.
Yeah.
You had Marty, putting on great matches in New Japan. The Ospreay matches were classics. I don't think Brandy was an official member, but I say she should be. She's a huge part of the Elite.
Yeah.
This is some of Cody's best heel work. I loved everything Cody was doing. Everywhere he went, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, he was killing it as a heel all over, even at the rest of the indies. What they are now is a shame because I know they have to, they can't all be together in AEW now, but they were so good, man. They were must-see TV. BT we get to watch it every week at this point. But I think they'll go for A for me.
Same with you, Eric?
I'll agree. And you know what? Talking about the Elite, just so nobody goes at me in the comments, I think they're on the same level as DX, so I'm happy that DX is an A. I would change my vote to A for DX.
Okay. All right, well, let's go into Evolution. We have Rick, Randall, Dave, and Paul.
Just made the Evolution sound so lame.
Yeah. Oh, man.
What do you guys think about it? I love the theme song again. We got Motorhead chiming in for Triple H with a great theme.
That theme song's amazing.
Yeah,
man. Everything about Evolution. Real quick to sum it up, they're A class for me. The storyline was great. And even how they split up, you know, with Triple H just becoming, you know, greedy and taking away stuff from Randy Orton and Batista. Like, it was such a good storyline. It set up Batista for success for years. Orton in the same way. And they had so many different storylines to follow after this. Evolution, they had a rocky start, though, you know, with Batista being injured and some of the stuff I was seeing, but they were A-class for sure.
Yeah. Do you agree on that, Eric, or you got other thoughts?
I'm gonna vote A-class, but
Okay.
personally, I think they're an S-class faction because I don't think any other faction has successfully done with like anything that Evolution has done. Like every role that was defined,
Yeah.
like it was passed. Like Triple H was supposed to be the present, he was in charge in the present. Batista, Randy Orton, they were the future, and now that's already been done. And Ric Flair was a great representation of the past and a great helper. So it just everything worked out perfectly for that faction. Like no other faction had their goals accomplished that perfectly.
I think you do got to put him in S-class after that argument, at least for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll keep him in that class, but I'm cool with that.
Yeah, the thing for me with Evolution was, like you brought up, Noc, Dave getting injured, and then a couple like hiccups in storyline. But you brought up great points, Eric, and that is what an S-class faction is all about. And let's go to one of the all-time classics, the Fabulous Freebirds, P.S. Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy, Buddy Roberts. This was just before my time.
Yeah, obviously they're before my time as well, but they got a rule name after them, the Fabulous Freebird rule.
That's true.
That's exactly why they're A-class for me. You get a rule named after yourself. You started something.
Yeah, and I know they had a lot of impact in the tag team world. They're good to steady.
Yeah.
So they got to go in A-class.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything I didn't like from them. Even the music videos I dig. Bad Street USA, baby.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if you guys are too familiar with this. He had a version of this called the Nest at ECW, but I'm going just on here. So if you want to talk about the Nest in the comments, feel free. This is the Flock, Ravens Flock, with Stevie Richards, Saturn, Kidman, Canyon, Hammer, a bunch of other people in there too. This, to me, while watching WCW, was card filler because it wasn't the Nest. So you have the ECW version, and then you get brought up to Turner, and you don't get the ECW version. It was just them kind of looking mopey in grunge clothes on the side of the ring for most of the matches until they interfered or had a match.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I'll agree with where you go. I don't know enough about them.
All right. Next up is the Hart Foundation, not the tag team with the Anvil and Jimmy Hart. We're going later, which some people call the New Hart Foundation. I'm talking about Brett, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Owen Hart, Davey Boy Smith, and Pillman. I'm talking about that one from the 90s. Eric, what do you think about that Hart Foundation?
Torn between S and A, because you could argue that just Brett and the Anvil are one of the greatest tag teams ever.
Yeah.
So I'll go with A, but if you want to put them in S class, I wouldn't hate that either.
I was going to say A because it kind of made WWF at the time, which I wasn't too into, watchable. But it also suffers from that time as well because it didn't really have that much to offer the Hart Foundation, just because you had a lot of wonky gimmicks and stuff in there. But it was at the time they were getting better gimmicks, and then certain things happened and the Hart Foundation was no more. But I'll agree with an A class.
Yeah, I think you summed it right there perfectly. We've seen a lot of tag teams nowadays having the same issue. We're just in the wrong era where they don't have much good storylines going for them, the Usos for a long time. I think there's one Mania we talked about in the Mania tier list where the Hart Foundation had a terrible loss to a terrible team. I'll put them A class as well. That's a whole lot of talent in there, man. So much talent.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump around here because I think this Hart Foundation is what the Pinnacle is kind of maybe trying to be. So let's talk about the Pinnacle. Where would you guys put the Pinnacle, Eric?
So I want them to be S class because I really want Sean Spears to be the top heel I think he can be. I really want MJF to succeed, and I love FTR right now. Everyone in that faction I love, but right now, coming fresh off of Blood and Guts, they're a B team. They still have ways to go. They haven't hit A yet.
Noc, what do you think?
Yeah. Obviously, it's very early for us to really dive into the Pinnacle. But I project them when it's all said and done to at least be an A class. Right now, after what we've seen, it's probably B.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I wasn't the biggest fan of the build for the Blood and Guts. Blood and Guts match aside, I just felt the Pinnacle was made to look weak the whole way through just to give them the victory at Blood and Guts. I thought it was just the wrong way to really bring them up, but I hope they are around for a longer time to become one of the best factions.
Yeah.
All right, Noc, I gotta. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it's gonna come down to booking because I think everybody, like you see, Dax Harwood like just shines every random week. So the people themselves, like everyone in the Pinnacle is A plus. It's just booking has to work.
Yeah, and the beautiful part about it too, we still haven't seen Wardlow as hard as Wardlow can go.
Oh man, that's gonna be amazing.
Speaking of amazing, Noc, I gotta pick that TNA brain. What about
Let's
Immortal?
go. Well, you picked the wrong team to talk about amazing. What a travesty. This is literally the team that destroyed TNA. You come in 2009, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, Daniels, all these people hitting their prime. Every single division was on fire. You get Hogan signed and come in. He brings in his boys, the Nasty Boys, some other dude from some radio show, a whole lot of nonsense. Yes, Bischoff. So Immortal pretty much, it started off kind of cool because at their biggest show, Bound for Glory, you have Jeff Hardy versus Mr. Anderson versus Kurt Angle. High profile main event. Jeff Hardy turns heel. No one sees it coming. And I thought he had a really nice heel run. It was him. It was Abyss, Jeff Jarrett. They brought in Fortune for whatever reason. Ric Flair, AJ Styles, and all those guys. And it just became like so clustered. So many people. It was like half the roster. But Hogan was taking up most of the matches. They killed so much of TNA. It's terrible. Honestly, go in and put them in fail, man. Their theme song sucked. Everything about them sucked. The only good thing about them,
nothing. Keep going, man. Keep going.
The only good thing about them was Fortune, and they should have been in the faction. They should have been feuding against them. Why was AJ Styles teaming with Jeff Hardy and all these guys who came in? Like, it made no sense whatsoever. They ruined the company and set it so far back. Fuck Immortal.
I love it. All right. Eric, why don't you kick us off? The thoughts about the Inner Circle.
Oh man, I can't remember which show I was watching, but there's one character says to the other one, I don't see what you see. Just that perception between two different people is different. I don't see what the wrestling world sees with the Inner Circle. I don't think they're a success. I don't understand why they were a face. First of all, it takes more than just getting your ass beat to become a face. I hate when that happens. That you got beat up and all of a sudden I'm supposed to sympathize with you after from day one you were doing the exact same thing to other people. I don't get it.
Well, it was a slow face burn though. Like, they've been getting cheered for a while now. They've been kind of doing like comedy heel stuff instead of like the viciousness.
But so maybe I missed it because all I remember was they were feuding with Orange Cassidy, and then then they got MJF and they were trying to be funny, but they were still feuding with the Young Bucks. They were still being heels.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know. This is why I say like I don't understand. Some things I don't like, but the wrestling world likes. So for that alone, I'm willing to put them in B. I think if the wrestling world likes them, then fuck it.
Noc, counterpoint.
I got a few counterpoints, but I kind of agree with Eric in a different way. So their first year, they debut on Dynamite, vicious, look great. Jericho's the world champ. They have Stadium Stampede. Everyone looks like stars. Huge success. But as time went on, the second year, we're not seeing Proud and Powerful wrestle as much. They had that street fight. That street fight was amazing. Yep. But we don't see them put to the forefront. You see Jericho tagging with a whole bunch of different guys, Guevara, Hager, and why is Proud and Powerful? So, and Sammy Guevara barely wrestles. Hager doesn't really wrestle so much, but he doesn't really need to. So that's fine.
Because he's
I just feel like a lot of the spotlight is on Jericho, as it should be.
Because he's rock hard.
He's rock hard, man. A lot of spotlight's on Jericho, as it should be. But you still gotta get these guys going. I know it's they're still new to TV, but I feel like they're kind of getting held back a little bit in a way. Last thing I'll say, they don't even use their theme song. They use Jericho's theme song. They don't even use their own theme song. I know it's not big a deal, but they don't have a lot of gold going for them. They are AEW's biggest faction, though, so they got that working for them. The MJF storyline, like, it was hit or miss sometimes. Some weeks it was cool because MJF has good chemistry with Jericho. Some weeks it just didn't make sense. I'm gonna go B as well for now, but I want to see more how it plays out and finishes.
I will agree. Santana and Ortiz are the biggest reason for me why they are not in A, at least, because I like you mentioned one match that I can really remember of theirs. I think a lot of people were muted because of Jericho.
Yeah. If they had, this is how Tony Khan can learn from NXT. Do what Undisputed Era did, where Kyle was the face for a while, where he actually went after the championship, and let Jericho just be in the background for a while, and I'd respect him a little bit more.
Yeah. So hopefully none of these guys in the inner circle go to this. The next up is the Job Squad: Al Snow, Bob Holly, Scorpio. Another kind of like play on the NWO.
Really?
Because they were jobbers. Man, I want to put this with the BWO and D's nuts. I didn't care for any of the stuff that they did during here. This is below card filler for me.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about Legacy. The purpose of this was very well done. It's very, very well thought out. Randy Orton, after Evolution, makes his own faction with generational superstars in Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr. The concept was great. The execution was okay, and to me, the ending wasn't good at all. So that's what I'm judging Legacy on. Noc, what do you judge Legacy?
The same thing. Like they started off strong. I love their theme song. I love Cody and Ted DiBiase together. They are an underrated tag team as the years have gone on.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great start for them. I know Cody learned a lot from Orton. So behind the scenes, it worked because, he got to learn the business and do stuff with Orton. That was a great pairing, great idea, great concept. But like you said, on screen, some of the storylines weren't that well. And I didn't like the ending either. I thought the ending kind of fizzled out, and it should have been done differently. It didn't make sense how they did that. So that drops them some points here. But I think I'll compare them to the Inner Circle, where I got to see how it finishes for Inner Circle. If Inner Circle finishes great, they're going to jump some spots. But right now, Legacy didn't finish great, so they're stuck in that B spot.
Yeah. Eric, what do you think?
I think Legacy was the first time I saw a wrestler and everything slowed down and music was playing. And I was like, this guy one day is going to become my favorite wrestler. And that was Cody Rhodes. I knew from the start this guy was going to be my favorite wrestler. I just wish WWE, because at the time they were booking it because they thought Ted DiBiase was going to be the big star. And they kind of neglected Cody. But like you said, the ending fizzled. So I'm going to give him a B.
Yeah. I mean, Cody even says it. Like, Ted DiBiase would just, wrestling came easy to him. He was so athletic compared to Cody. He had like all this stuff going for him.
Yeah.
So Cody really had to work his ass off to get to where he was.
Yeah.
Or to where he is.
All right, Noc, you're up to bat again. Tell us about LAX from
All right,
TNA
man. LAX. One of the most original dominant forces in TNA. You had Homicide and Hernandez. Hernandez, he called himself the Super Max. This dude was like, if you think Cesaro, this guy was as strong as him, throwing people all across the ring, doing all this flying stuff. He was great. Homicide had one of the most vicious and original finishers I've ever seen. I'm surprised people don't use it. Actually, Cody tries to use his finisher now, and it looks terrible. Homicide did it very well. They won all this tag team gold. That was the original group. I think Homicide left, and Hernandez joined with some other dude named Anarchia. Wasn't digging it at all. Wasn't good. They won tag gold, so they do have that on their resume, but they didn't work at all. None of them could really talk. The reason that part stands out to me, because Zelina Vega came in. She was known as like, I forget what her name was. Some other random name they gave her. It was her, and it was Sarita. She was a trainer right now in WWE. She's got released, but she was great. Those two, women's tag team, they killed it, and they carried that group in that point. Next one up, I don't know where it went after that. I think it just, it was Hernandez and Chavo. Elevated again. Great team, won tag gold, and they had great chemistry together. Chavo, I love seeing him here. And he's a person I hated growing up because he did what he did with Rey Mysterio. Finally, probably the best version of the group, it happened when it was Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz, straight up killing it, man. Storylines, the matches, the gold. All in all, they might be A for me. I'm putting them A for now. Wherever I'm going? Yeah. All right. Because they're better than Aces and Eights. I might have to drop Aces and Eights a little lower. I think they're shit. I'm gonna put them A class. Put them A class.
Okay.
But damn, they can't be next to the league. They're not that good. All right, high B. That's it. High B. That's it.
For LAX?
Yeah, LAX high B.
All right. High B for LAX. Next up is the LWO in WCW. Everyone was so sick and tired of the NWO, especially the Latin World Order, as they call themselves, or excuse me, the Latino World Order. So Eddie Guerrero headed this up. They had Rey Mysterio, had Juventud, La Parca, Psychosis, Silver King, like a bunch more. Are you guys familiar with the LWO?
Not too much, but like that talent is off the chain.
Eric, did you have any familiarization with them?
Honestly, no. I thought for a while, because I know Rey Mysterio like talked about wanting to do something like this. I thought for a while they were just like a dream booking, but no, I had no idea they were actually a thing.
It is a real thing, and you can watch it all on Peacock. I'm going to put them in B. You know, when you think of the LWO, you think of card filler because it's another ripoff of the NWO, but these are very talented men. They put on very good matches. It was just the in-between story stuff that was kind of like meh, but you had talent doing this, so. All right, Noc. I got one more for you.
Oh, man.
Main Event Mafia.
All right. So as much as I hate Immortal, if you want to talk about a basic, this is the main event Mafia. This was booked to perfection. Eric, as you've seen, like with the Elite, you had Cody being the rival to Kenny Omega, trying to take a spot here and there as the heel. This dynamic was the opposite in main event Mafia, with Kurt Angle being the main guy and Sting, you know, trying to be that leader guy, but as a face, because Kurt Angle was this despicable heel. You have Angle, Sting, Scott Steiner, Booker T, and big, sexy Kevin Nash. Eventually, Samoa Joe does join. I wasn't too big on that because it didn't make sense storyline-wise, but he was a world champion, so you have to be a world champion to join the main event Mafia. It just, Samoa Joe is one of the newer guys, so I didn't really like that aspect, and he kind of, I don't know, he did some weird stuff to join. But this was greatness. You had Kurt Angle and Sting in an empty arena match, all the world titles. They held all the gold. And they just put on great matches. They're very memorable. Theme song was great. So for me, they're A-class.
All right. Mr. TNA's putting them all up the top.
I might have to drop some people down by the end of this because it's not looking good.
Okay. Back in 96, the Nation of Domination formed. Farouk D'Lo Brown, Mustafa Ahmed, Rock joined it. Mark Henry was in there. This was a very believable faction, in my opinion, at the time. Eric, your thoughts on the Nation?
Like you said, believable. Farouk was doing some good work. It was before they just reduced him to just saying one word, and that's all for some reason people will know him for. And of course, like you said, The Rock was in there. It was a damn good group. I'm cool with it going A. I think it can go there.
I'm fine with that. Noc, anything?
Yeah, I think put him in A, man. I heard they might be bringing this back. I've been seeing that rumbling around.
They're at some indie show.
Oh, okay. I was worried because like around the time the Hurt Business started, I heard they wanted to like recreate this, and I was like,
yeah,
do you guys really know how to do this in like 2020, 2019? Like, come on, you guys really know?
No. Let's go to the Hurt Business next.
Okay.
Yeah, Noc, what do you think about the Hurt Business and where should they go?
Damn, man. They literally carried Raw on their backs the whole year. But it's just that ending. That ending was so bad because it was rushed and they just did it for whatever reason that like I can't put them where they should be. I think as a group, what they meant, the gold they won, and like I was really rooting for these guys. They'd be they would be potential S-class. But the ending and it was too short, too soon. So it might be, it might have to drop down to the B.
Eric, what about you?
If Noc had said A, I think I would have agreed with him, because this is another thing where I wasn't on board with them. I'm giving Lashley his respect right now because he hasn't fucked up in a very long time. He's been a solid champion. I'm giving him his respect. During that period though, like when they were carrying Raw, I wasn't on them. So this is something that, again, that the wrestling world loved. People were sad when they were like disbanded. I would have gone up to Vince and be like, listen, man, I don't like them, but you got to put them back together, right? You fucked up.
You fucked up, right?
You fucked up.
Yeah. So you know what? Wherever Noc thinks they should be, I will agree with him, because that just shows the importance that they had in the wrestling world that I didn't see.
I just want to make it clear. I don't want to put them at B. I love this group, man, but it's just too short and terrible ending.
Yeah, and it's a shame too because they went to the boss and pleaded, "Please don't do this." And the boss said, "I'm the boss." Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, there's hope. Maybe who knows? Maybe Keith Lee will join. Maybe T-Bar and Dijakovic. Maybe they can continue something. But it sucks that Shelton and Cedric got the short end of the stick.
Exactly. Like again, I don't want to harp on this too much, but in one night you ruined MVP's entire message for the entire year about elevating these guys. Come join me, I will show you the way. And now they're back to doing what? Nothing.
Yeah.
Let's jump to another Farouk. Let's go to the Ministry of Darkness. The Ministry of Darkness was very fun for a while. Let's see who's all in there. Obviously, Undertaker and Paul Bearer were in there, but you had like Midian, Viscera, Farouk, and Bradshaw. The Brood were in there, and then it came up to be the reveal that Vince McMahon was the one behind everything all along, and he kidnapped his own daughter. Very, very wonky ending to everything here for this. Do you guys have any thoughts on the Ministry, Eric?
I don't know why. Whenever I think of them, I feel like there must have been some cringy, weird moments that aren't favored on today. Is that like, am I imagining that, or is it really as cringy as I think it might be?
It's more corny than cringy. The cringy stuff is stuff that, like, if you're religious, it might be because, you know, you had Stone Cold on Undertaker's symbol, it wasn't a cross, and then the stuff with Stephanie being kidnapped. So it wasn't all that kind of like you need to censor it.
Right. Let me just clarify this for anyone who's thinking that we don't know this stuff beforehand. We usually go back and we research the stuff that we weren't there to watch or anything like that. It's been a fucking long time since I've read about the Ministry. But I think from what I remember, I'm willing to give them maybe a low B, high C. Wherever you think they should go, Zach. Like I'll go with you.
Not give any thoughts on them or anything you remember about them?
I don't know. Like I think they should go and see, but like they're not really a card filler. They're like a step above card filler, but I want to put them on the same level as these other factions and be
right because Vince was involved.
Yeah, I'll say this: storyline wise, with the Undertaker, it felt like a big deal, even though a lot of the guys were card filler beneath him, like Viscera and Midian.
Yeah. But
the end game with the Undertaker and everything, him being the Undertaker, puts them in a B because when their storylines are on, you tuned in.
Yeah,
this is true.
All right, Noc, your thoughts on the New Day?
Oh man, here we go again. It brings such pride by the New Day. Xavier Woods' dream, Austin Creed, to get Kofi the world title. One of the best moments in wrestling of me ever watching live. I was glad to had a great time to watch it with Eric and another friend of ours. Zach obviously was there live. All the tag team gold. How much is it? 12 now between them. Kofi has like 30, 100 tag team titles. Crazy. They've been around for long. They've transcended wrestling. They're my S class. They're S class for sure. We'll see what at the end, but for now, we got to put them there.
Eric?
Yeah, that's S class. They're fantastic. When you see so many black wrestlers join WWE and they have to like change or follow a mold, the New Day didn't do that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They just smile and be a generic face or be a heel that goes nowhere. The New Day didn't do that. Xavier was literally bet his career on this. He pretty much came up with everything, and New Day just works. So yeah, that's perfect. It's S class.
Yeah. You guys hit it all right there. And if you want someone that can carry your company, even with sponsorships, that's 3 men right there.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right, the Nexus. Yeah, that's true. The Nexus next up with Barrett, Ryback, Daniel Bryan, Tarver, D. Young, Otunga, Justin Gabriel, back in 2010, and then got transferred over to the new Nexus. Big feuds with Cena. Started out as a game show, but then turned into kind of a cool faction. And then again, they didn't know what they were doing because every so often they'd kick someone out. We didn't like what Tarver did, we're kicking him out. We didn't like what Darren Young did, we're kicking him out. Not fully thought through. Eric, what do you think of Nexus?
All right, so there's two things I want to address about Nexus. One, Cena fucked up. He should not have won that 7-on-7 match.
No.
That was ridiculous.
Yes.
But looking back at all those members of the Nexus, in all honesty, I don't think the Nexus was going to last much longer, even if they had one. If Barrett had gotten WWE Championship, they would have lasted for that run. But all of those people in there, besides Brian was already out. What's his name? Redhead, Wendy's.
Heath Slater.
Heath Slater. We hadn't known he was funny yet. Like, I don't think I don't think the people in that group would have kept it going for as long as a lot of people think they would have. So,
But PJ Black.
oh, PJ,
His matches were a little off. I felt he was green at the time.
yeah, he like now. I like him, but back then he was still finding himself.
Yeah.
So even David Otunga, like he was just a weird guy. But for what they were, where they ended, what they could have been, I'll say B. Their start was great.
Yeah, the start was great. Do you remember any of like when they started splintering off, like when CM Punk became the leader and they had like the core
Mason
or something it was called?
Oh, yeah.
The new Nexus and then
The new
core.
Nexus and then
Yeah. Oh yeah, they tried to have that guy try to be the new Batista. I remember everyone was like, "Oh, push him because he looks like Batista." Like, yeah, push him because he looks like somebody. That makes sense. Yeah, they started off strong, but like this is when Super Cena was just taking over, man. And it was hard to watch WWE, man. A 7-on-1 match. Like I get it, you know. I'll see that in like the comics, but like when it comes to wrestling, it doesn't work that much. They're gonna go card filler for me. I don't think that at the time they were card fills, but they just terrible ending.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with card filler because after that Cena match, they meant nothing.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'll give CM Punk credit because I thought like when he took over the Nexus and did like the new Nexus thing, that felt like a comic book story to me. Like just like if Dr. Doom found this like army, it was like, this is now mine, and he like took it over.
Yeah.
So I like that match, that moment, but after that it just kind of went away.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about one of the big ones here. The NWO started off nice and too sweet with 3 guys, and then they added Bischoff, and then we started adding people that didn't make sense, like the Giant. Then we started adding rivals like Macho and Elizabeth, and then we started adding everyone, and then we started adding Ric Flair, and then we found more people to add, and then we broke off into red and white sub-factions. And then we joined again, and then we kept adding more people, and then we thought we were going to name one of our shows NWO Thunder, and then
like
it killed the company.
Does that sound like what I said with Immortal? Does that sound a little similar? You think they would learn from what they did before?
Oh man!
Why would you load up a cup? Like, come on, man!
Oh man!
Eric, with all that history, with the best heel turn in history, and then all the history that follows that into just a mess, a huge mess.
Yeah.
What do you give this?
This is the hardest one to grade because if we put this in S class, someone's gonna be like, "What? They fucking all that stuff that happened." You put them in fail. No, they're the NWO. Like they have an argument to be in every single level.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, God. I think I want to say A for right now, but I guess because like if you could fuck it up that bad, that means like that was your lifeline. That was like your number one thing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way I look at A class is like these are the main eventers. This was a big deal, and this is what the company was focused on.
Right.
What separates A class from S class to me is, did you improve the company? Did you transcend wrestling? Did you do any of that stuff? Yes, they transcended wrestling, but also killed the company. That cancels them out of S class. Yeah. And to be honest, these same group of people killed 2 companies for me. So at the same point, I can't put them in fail, obviously, but they're damn sure not S class. You put them in A because, you know, they were huge. Everyone tried to copy them. They were a big deal. But how do you put all the company in what group? Is it supposed to be 1 against 100? Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. Ridiculous.
Oh man. Yeah, it's weird. You'll still see people wearing the shirt today, and so many wrestlers obviously try to emulate them. But that was a dumpster fire eventually.
Yeah,
man, it's so messy. All right, let's get into a weird one here during the Attitude Era. The Oddities, Luna Vachon was in there. ICP wound up in there too. Giant Silva, Crane, the Jackal. I think there's maybe one other guy, but just a lot of like weird people who are supposed to look like a freak show. In my opinion, I'm debating between Card Filler and D's Nuts. I love Luna. D's Nuts. Noc.
Eric has spoken. I'll agree with you.
Just because they're Insane Clown Posse. That's my main reason.
Very true. All right. Are you guys familiar with PMS, Pretty Mean Sisters?
I know I've heard of it before.
Yeah,
Attitude Era name, obviously.
obviously
Yeah.
Vince McMahon just having a laugh.
It's funny. Jacqueline Terry and Ryan Shamrock in 1998 formed this stable. They're kind of done wrong by some men, so they found each other. It was wasn't too long lived. It was okay. This was definite card filler because it
Yeah.
didn't last
Yeah.
long. If it would have lasted longer, it'd be D's or fail.
Yeah, for sure, put him there, and it shows you how far women's wrestling has come since being treated this way.
Mm-hmm.
If they
All
want
right.
to go further, they can get rid of Vince McMahon, the man who came up with this. It's a weird idea.
Yeah. Right to Censor, Ivory, Bo Buchanan, Val Venus, The Good Father, and man of many stables here, Stephen Richards. Are you guys familiar with Right to Censor?
Not a lot. Like I've seen some of their stuff, but I don't know too much. But yeah, Steve Rich has been everywhere.
Eric, what about you?
I've seen people seem to like them. I didn't think they would, but I've seen like on Facebook some people speak highly of them. The Good Father was kind of funny for a while there to make that transition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think card filler is that's where I put them at.
Yeah, I'll say kind of good card filler too, just because you see stuff like Val Venus trying not to go back to being Val Venus, and The Good Father being The Good Father had its good moments, and it was a nice offset from the Attitude Era stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Val drops the ball though. I think I would drop him lower because of him, but he's there fine.
Yeah. All right. When do you guys want to take the Shield? I'm not a big fan of the faction.
Dun 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 dun. The Shield, man, come on. Let's be real here. I know John Moxley refers to them as a boy band nowadays, and you hear all this talk, but all of them became WWE champion in the same night. It should have had a Mania run. That would have been a cool conclusion. That would have been one of the best conclusions ever. They would have been S-class if they did that. But they had some weird triple threat match at like what, Battleground or something that I don't even think I watched or remember. But they're so good, man. They all could lead the company. They're all leading companies now. They took over. They started in a time where I wasn't really watching too much WWE, but then I kept hearing about them. They have to go in A-class.
Eric, what about you?
Man, it's tough because I don't like their booking. I've never liked their booking because literally they started off fighting random teams of 3 that made no sense, that obviously you knew weren't going to win. And then they splintered off from being CM Punk, being CM Punk's like boys.
Yeah.
And then once they got like the reunion happens, and it was all to put Roman Reigns over. Like I never liked their booking, but thing is WWE did put a lot of resources into them.
Yeah.
I kind of have to say A, just because of how highly WWE really pushed them. They forced them into A-class, whether I like it or not.
My boy Kurt Angle, honorary mention.
Oh yeah, and Triple H.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like the way they were brought in. Are they with CM Punk? Are they against him? Are they with Paul Heyman? It was just really weird. They got very boring very fast. I didn't understand why they were allowed to wear Kevlar in the ring. And
somebody shoot him.
I feel their best matches were because of who they're going up against, like the New Day or the Usos or the Wyatts.
Yeah.
I will say they got one of the craziest pops ever when the reunion Ambrose and Seth Rollins at SummerSlam for tag gold.
Yeah.
That was a crazy pop.
Yeah.
I'll give them, for some reason, I guess I talk about wrestling fans are smarter. Maybe I'm not, because I don't see subtlety. I had no idea that the whole Sierra Hotel India was spelling out Shield in the beginning. I was like, why are they just randomly saying these words? What? Why are you just wasting my
don't you
entrance
play Call of
time?
Duty? What are you talking about?
I think it was like their farewell tour. I was like, oh shit, that's what that is.
Oh man, you gotta play some more Call of Duty. Get that out there. But and they have one of the most iconic breakups ever.
That night was cool. I give the props for that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into a goofy group, the Spirit Squad.
Oh gosh.
Oh, why you don't like them?
I do actually like them.
Okay.
And they were like the first big team I saw on Raw, because I didn't really get to watch Raw as a kid for a few of those years. And they had the tag gold, they were doing that. Dolph Ziggler was in there. You had Kenny Dykstra being that guy with his leg drop where he grabbed the back of his leg. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of their feuds. So they were cool, but I was like, oh, fuck these guys. But it was a good reason.
Yeah.
I'll put him in B team, honestly. Like the low end of B team. They had that feud with DX.
Yeah. What about you, Eric?
I had a lot of fun with these guys. Male cheerleading squad should not work, but it just did. I really liked when they were tag team champions because like you never know which combinations can defend it with the with the Freebird rule. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I had fun with them for a B team squad.
Has a team abused that rule more than them?
Let's go back to 2002 Team Angle. Kurt, Shelton, Haas.
Yeah.
What a good faction.
Yeah. Yeah.
World's greatest tag team.
As great a faction as that is, I don't remember anything they did. Like I don't think I was watching wrestling at that point.
Okay. What about you, Noc?
So like I don't remember them being around that long though. Before they weren't card fills, but I think they're solid. Put them in a B team. Again, towards the lower end, maybe the middle-ish. But yeah, I don't remember too much of their stuff. But I know like when I did watch them, I'll go back to some of their matches.
Yeah, 3 solid guys. Just yeah, it's a lot going on with the brand split and everything.
Yeah.
All right, this one, what were they called?
The
It was
Real
with Zeb.
Americans.
The Real Americans was Zeb, Coulter, Hager, whatever his name was, and
Jack
hey,
Swagger.
good job at EW. Yeah, I forgot Jack Swagger was
JR
Good
did
job.
no,
Nope.
JR did not.
He forgot he was at AEW.
Who else was in this thing? I
Cesaro.
okay. I'm going one of the last two.
It was a very weird group because the whole premise of it was that Zeb Coulter was just a very right-wing conservative who does not like immigrants, which, I mean, you think about the political party that Linda McMahon is in, then that might have hit a little too close to home.
Yeah.
And then they started to get like kind of irony pops, like people started to actually laugh at the joke of "We the People," and then Cesaro somehow got in on it. It's a weird joke that should not have worked, but it didn't fail. Well, maybe it did fail. I'm gonna put in these nuts.
Right. What about you, Noc?
Yeah, I'll put them there too. I remember like I don't really remember watching too much of their stuff, but it's great talent, and they used to get some pretty big pops, like Eric said, but not for the right reasons.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go on to I think one of my favorite ones, the Undisputed Era. Debuted back in 2017. NXT staple, War Games staple. Noc, what are your thoughts on Undisputed Era?
Throw them right there and ask for now. They carried the brand. When I think of NXT nowadays, I think Undisputed Era. They are the WWE version of War Games. I don't remember. They're so ingrained with War Games, I forgot there was one before them. Such a good team. Held all the gold. You know, Adam Cole's, his goal to get them all gold at first. So yeah, S-Class for me, man. All great talents.
Yeah. What about you, Eric?
S-Class. No,
Yeah.
There's no reason anyone should say any other grade.
Nope.
Yeah.
Speaking of other grades, Noc, this is your last one.
Oh man.
Voodoo Kin Mafia, VKM.
Yeah. So Eric, they did this weird thing. It was Road Dogg and Kip James and who else is in here? But pretty much the VKM, they did that whole thing to spell out Vince McMahon, his initials and whatnot. I think, to be honest, they're just card fillers to me, man. I don't even know why they're on this tier list. To be honest, they're not terrible. Obviously, they're very smart in wrestling business, but this wasn't all that.
They tried so hard to cut like scathing promos against Triple H and Shawn Michaels by calling their real name out on TV, and I don't know, man. It was just like watching two guys you watched like just keep going down and down and down and down. I didn't enjoy this at all. I'll say D's nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Eric, any thoughts on Voodoo King Mafia?
I'm gonna agree with Zach just because I get it. It must be torture when you're on the bad end of working with WWE. Like it's such a unique experience, and you want to tell everyone about how crazy Vince McMahon and all those people are, but don't let it seep into your work.
Mhm.
Like, if you want to do interviews about it, that's cool. I'll listen to them, but don't let it go into your promos and all that shit.
Yeah, it was tough to watch. All right, let's go to one that debuted in NXT in 2012, I do believe. The Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt, Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, the late great Brody Lee. Eric, what do you think about the Wyatt family?
Man, this faction should have worked. There's no reason why it should not have worked. I love the Fiend, but if I could go back in time and choose to keep Colt Bray and the Wyatt family, I would, because they were great. I think I have to give them a B just because it didn't work.
What about you, Noc?
Yeah, I'm gonna go same grade, and I agree with Eric. Like, as much as I love the Fiend, as much I love seeing what I'm seeing from him, Bray Wyatt, cult leader, was one of the greatest things I've ever seen, especially on the mic. Again, I wasn't really watching WWE too much when they debuted, but I would always tune in to see Bray Wyatt talk. Everything he was saying was just so good. It was so different. I love it, man. I will go back and watch that stuff now, and I don't know if we can get that character. It won't ever be the same, but they're B because of booking. They really missed out on what a good team they could have been. They should have got, all the gold at one point. Something, man. It's a shame. Yeah, I'm gonna go B.
Yeah, watching Bray do that in early NXT was really cool. Watching him discover the character.
Yeah.
And then once Vince got a hold of it, it wasn't there.
Right.
All right, we got two more. Let's go to AEW with Team Taz. Noc, your thoughts on Team Taz?
I love everybody in it. I love Taz. He's good. He can talk, man. He was on commentary. He knows what he's doing. Brian Cage is a machine, the Terminator. Mr. Swolverine. Ricky Starks came on the scene doing his thing. Mr. Charisma. He can talk, and I don't know if he's injured right now or something, but I'm not seeing as much of him as I would like. And I feel like Team Taz, they had a big profile match with Sting and Darby Allin, but I feel like it's all like smoke. They don't really deliver on what they should be doing. And it's not their fault, because a whole lot of talent, just the booking right now, they're in a weird spot. Potential wise, they could be in B, but honestly, they're kind of just card filling.
Yeah, what about you, Eric?
Real quick, who was that you said might be injured, Noc?
I think Ricky Starks might be injured.
Yeah, I think he is, with a fractured neck.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he took
3 months at least.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I like Brian Cage. At least I like what he could be. I don't know. This is just a faction I'm not a fan of, but I understand what they should be.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say C, both for personal preference, and also they should be higher than where they are right now.
Yeah. I don't see them taking over AEW either. So I don't know where that potential really lies.
No.
Right.
I don't see it happening.
I think Hobbs and Hook too green yet to even make a huge dent in Team Taz.
Yeah.
But
Hobbs might. Hobbs had a good match at Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still got some time though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they add. Well, I mean, how do you even add anyone? Because Brian Cage is like your big guy. So I don't know.
Yeah, he should be your big guy. Stark should be your mid card TNT guy, and then give Hobbs a tag team partner. I don't think it's Hook right now, obviously, but you give Hobbs someone and put Hook as like the guy who rolls with him at the matches and hangs ringside.
Nakazawa.
Get out of here. Let's go to the
last one.
They tell you what to do with this faction in the theme song. Shut it down. Retribution. Yeah. Is it going anywhere but fail?
It has to go and fail. How do you have 50 guys come up, destroy the thing, and then they're all about carnage and chaos and whatnot, and they come and get signed. They're looking for contracts, have them destroyed and stuff. And now it's just 5 of them. What happened to the rest of the guys? They were booked to fail from the start, and it's not the talent again. I think Dio Madden has a lot of potential. He has great size. He was on commentary. How do you go from commentary to saying, I'm gonna rip this to shreds? You got Dijakovic, great talent, killed it in NXT with Keith Lee. Mia Yim's one of the best women wrestlers in the world. And then you got Mustafa Ali killing up promos, man. He's trying his hardest to get this to work. Who did they break up with? They break up on what? The pre-show of Fastlane? This was terrible.
Eric, any thoughts on Retribution?
from day one. Which I don't remember if it was a speed check or I was live streaming or something, but when I saw that they were destroying the ring, I was like, this is fucking stupid. I called it. I was like, and people were saying, give it time. I was like, nope, it's fucking stupid. But I honestly do give Mustafa all the props in the world, because after towards the end of the run, I really did want them to succeed because they really were trying.
Yeah.
T-Bar was trying a little too hard, but
Yeah, man, get off that Twitter.
Mercedes Martinez did the right thing and got the fuck out of there.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It's a fail because they started as a fail, but I just feel bad for every single person because they could have been doing more in NXT.
They should have been.
Yep. All right. Well, that's it. That's all the factions that we have. Do you guys want to just leave one faction up in S class, or would you like to leave multiple because it's factions?
Ooh.
Let's do this. Do you want to leave one or do you want to boot one?
Ooh. I was gonna say we could leave them all up there because I don't.
I think so.
I'm fine.
They
Leave them
all
up there.
are in different eras and different promotions, and they're the top dogs.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Well, that's our tier list for factions. If you disagree with us, if we left some out, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts on what factions worked for you, what didn't, what worked storyline-wise, personality-wise, et cetera, et cetera. Hit that like button. Please subscribe. Do all that stuff to help us grow.
Yeah.
Other than that, any last thoughts on factions, gentlemen?
Yeah, please someone in the comments tell me why Retribution should be any higher. I would love to see this time. But thanks for watching, man. We're on that road to 500. Appreciate all the support.
Yeah. Please subscribe. Yes, to 500, and of course, don't forget subscribe to the Peacock app and service where you can watch WWE's Great Balls of Fire.
We don't get paid for that, Eric. This has been our Factions. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are West Coast Pop. See you next time.